The angels just told me, just do it, baby. Welcome back to my channel. I'm the Mark, aka Anji-Bug, and I am here to channel another collective message. This time I think Azrael wants to do it. I'm used to channeling more than one. When I was doing the remembrances, they all chimed in to let their opinions be known or discuss their part, having been born in one or more of my lifetimes. So we are here just to talk about the collective today. What is it that you feel that you need from your experience in this life? What is it that you need? That's the first question one needs to ask themselves. What do they need in their life? Each individual divine entity has their own specific goals. Some may intersect with others, but they do it in their own unique, authentic manner. And that is what we are here to discuss today. That is authenticity. Authenticity of being. What exactly does that mean? It might mean you taking time for yourself and singing silly songs while running around your neighborhood barefoot. It might mean talking to the tree outside to feel one or connected with all that is around you, because everything, even this plastic table, is part of the divine essence. If some of it is thinking, feeling, the plastic table would be not one of those things that are a feeling, thinking, being, except, well, Angela, she's a little bit of a animist in a way, because she's just always felt everything kind of out there, being just part of it all. So, anyway, we are talking about the authenticity of being, and Angela, like I said, is a little bit of an animist in some ways. I think Heinlein, her reading Heinlein and his line of Lazarus Long series made her think differently about the advent of AI, and wondering how much was it fantasy and how much was this mystic, this psychic she feels, really predicting the future. We'll see. The future is still for tomorrow, and we are in the now, living in the now, talking about the authenticity of our way of being. So let's get our first card for the day, and that would be fair and just decision. Do what you know is right and stand up for your beliefs. So that would be the authenticity of being. You know, standing up for what you believe in, living your own truth, uh, making these decisions, doing what you know is right, doing what you know is authentically right to who you are. That's the sole intended purpose. The sole intended purpose for our to even be incarnated into the flesh of the third D realm is to do so with authenticity of being, bringing another shining light of the divine into the 3D realm. You see these beautiful wings? We got justice, and that's the Archangel Rag, Rag, Raguel. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I don't think that I've ever heard it pronounced. He's carrying a, or she, it is carrying a sword, because angels are neither male nor female, but aspects of both. You would probably know it by the archetype of masculine and feminine energy, and it's more like that, you know. The masculine and feminine energy has equal places within the life, within the validity of the human being, or within the validity of the angelic experience, all the way up to where you are balanced masculine and feminine, where it seems to be inactive. The place where we wait, the place where new ideas are actually born and then tried out in the 3D realm. And so, whatever you believe, especially for yourself, is true, especially how you want to live your authentic life, you need to stand up for that belief. You need to make decisions that are fair and just to you and what you believe is right in your own system and what you need and what you don't need in your life. Now, and if this message resonates with you, take what resonates and discard what doesn't. But in this case, we need to make fair and just decisions for the part of our divine nature. What is fair to ourselves, to what is actually standing up for a belief system, and what beliefs do you hold? Because you might be holding on to outdated belief systems. So you need to check those every now and again. Angie, she works with a lot of archetypes, lots of them. Because, well, she didn't settle for one belief system. She thought, well, what makes one more viable than the other? Can I not just take the pieces that I really adore and what resonates with me and apply that to my life? And as she's gone on, she hasn't consciously applied it, but things have started coming up again, like the Kabbalah and other little researches that she'd done on Edgar Casey, and like they had never really watched or heard. They had heard of Wayne Dyer, but they'd never really watched or heard of channeled messages from angels until after we came and spoke to Angela in Mass. I think she might have kept herself away from that, fearing that maybe someone would see her talent and want to use her to deceive people. And deception it's not second nature to her. She can keep her own secrets. She doesn't have to tell you everything. But deception's not easy for her. Keeping deceptive secrets like that. And that's why I think that she had to shed the whole idea of keeping herself under wraps, under mask, while she was doing her thing, because it felt like a deception, but especially when she no longer needed it to bear her pain. Okay, so she has this line in one of her songs: it's always much easier to bear my pain by putting it under the hood of the Markane. And she always let that spiritual self guide, but she is that spiritual self. It was time to stop just putting it under a hood and let it shine. She is that being that she called the Markane. Anji-Bug, she decided to take that on because she felt like it was more personable. She felt like that it was her fun-loving part of herself. The child in her that she did not want to lose. That one that was curious. And so curious that they called her Anji-Bug, because she would let insects crawl upon her. Not cockroaches, she didn't like that. And not most spiders, not on purpose. But most spiders, she did like daddy long legs. But mostly like caterpillars, roly-polies. They would kind of creep her out, but they would tickle when they ran across her arm. Things like that. And she felt like she wanted to take on a little less serious side of herself to promote who she really is. Because inside, that's who she is. She's that silly girl who once made the whole light log with her brother and her sister. Okay, so let's get the next card. Abundance. Things are looking up. They look very good and have patience at this time. The energy is telling you make long-term plans. Make long-term plans. Those kind of dreams that it doesn't, that aren't fulfilled in seconds, those are fun and those are something you can do, but make the type that, say, write a book or hike longer than you've ever hiked, or whatever it is that resonates with you and resonates well. Make a long-term plan about that, because it's a good time to do so. It seems like the energy will be in your favor of that coming to fruition. Let's see what's next for the collective. What else? Ancestors, the rest of us angels, cards. What focal point do you want to talk to the collective about? And I feel a card. And that card is, sorry, looking it up, the camera's up on my light and looking up on her light. And looking up on the light is making it difficult to read the cards. So we'll have to find another way. We had fun trying to figure it out. We finally got an angle she likes, but it takes looking directly into the light. So missing an opportunity, discontentment or boredom, open your eyes to the possibilities. So some of you may be feeling bored, discontent with your life, and the lighting is messed up. Discontent with your life right now, especially with Mercury in retrograde. I don't know a whole lot about the stars. That's not my thing. That would be more Mirdan's thing, but and neither does Angie. But Mercury in retrograde, she and Cecil have found, does seem to have some effect. That is the one time that they know for sure they're feeling effects of the stars and its alignment. It was when Mercury is in retrograde. Their emotions are a little bit more tender, and you may be feeling this, especially at this time with retrograde. But we want you to open your eyes to the possibilities. Sorry, I can't get the lighting right to catch the card. But you want to open your eyes to the possibilities out there for you and what your divine essence really wants, what resonates. Because even in retrograde, there's a lot of energy that you can put to good use if you are living in your 5D life. We like that term. We actually do. We didn't have that term with all the discussions that we had done. We knew that she worked in the other realms. She had opened herself as wide as possible and started hearing us in the highest realms, not just the realms of the guides. Which is a fun job, I would say. And Mirdan and Jesua, in my opinion, in my humble opinion as Azrael, thought they drew lucky straws to get to be the first. But she actually was the decider of that because she found them first. But she found them. That's the key. She was seeking in dream and found Mirdan. And then Jesua, she just always wanted to keep with all her heart. She wanted to keep that being, that man, that son of man that was supposed to, in her eyes, guide us to a better form of being, the way that human beings are supposed to really resonate without all this fear and anger and hate of the people going on. And though she's not Christian, because Jesua, to her, was a mystic man, and he does not deny that to us either. We all have these divine aspects, and she's thought about long and hard why Jesua wouldn't just come out and say that. And she realized back in that day that would have probably just stoned him as a witch or crucified him a lot earlier. He came about with just trying to change their concept of life and God rather than being making them a deist, much like some of our forefathers were, no matter what people think, they were deists. And in the Constitution, it was written that we had a right to believe or not believe as we choose. And I guess I can say, actually looked up the word, and we did that just because Angie didn't know if she could actually call herself an atheist, since she does believe in something. But it does seem atheist is fine and right, because it just means about basically the divine creator, the design, and whatever. And she doesn't believe there's just one of those. She believes in co-creation. She's believed in that for a while. She's put a lot of faith in finding the path that was right for her, believing in healing, having Jess Wynn Meredith heal her gallstones rather than get her gallbladder taken out like the women in her family. And by the time she was suffering it, it was a very easy outpatient operation. She wasn't scared of the operation. She was determined. She had read somewhere that you could take that out of your DNA and not pass that on to your children. She had read that somewhere. She can't remember where, so we don't have access of where she read it, but she just read it, and she's like, oh, that's a neat idea. I believe in healing anyway, and I don't want them to suffer. Every woman in my family, she says, has suffered from gallstones. And what if I could make my children not have to do that? Besides, is my gallbladder, yes, you can live without it, but your body has it for a reason, and it hasn't yet stopped producing it, so why not try to heal and keep it? And so through much of 2004, she was in the healing process. And on her birthday, spontaneously, her disease, all her stones, which had melted, came up from her body. And they did it on her birthday, so no one else could convince her that it wasn't a divine healing. It was just a spontaneous occurrence. She knows it was a miracle, and she's happy with that miracle in her life, because she still has her gallbladder in her body the way most of the women in her family did not. So let's see, what's the next thing? Ooh. Ooh. Being too frivolous or too cautious with money, a good business decision, giving to those less fortunate. So some of you may be feeling overly cautious, or some of you may be frivolously spending. These are things that you have to think about when you're on a budget, and Angie wants to let go of being able to having to think about that. She feels like that having her budgeted all her life and having to continue to budget, sometimes it keeps her in the tomorrow rather than in the now, because she has to make plans and not just give the money to frivolity. So she has to really be careful and make the decisions that are just right, not be too cautious, so she can still have fun, living in the moment, but making good business decisions. So, because she loves where she lives. She doesn't want to be kicked out of the apartment that she lives in. And even though she doesn't love her job with her condition, it's, and I don't mean speaking of us, she, it's linked on our first video, I think. She did a podcast about PGAD, which she intends to do more about, but she hasn't had any questions, so she doesn't really know exactly where to go with that. So she's just being patient, biding her time till the time is right, that she feels like she has a message about that to say. And until then, she intends on going back. And also, be on the lookout. She's about to go over some of her favorite K-pop songs that got her into falling into the rabbit hole of falling in love with K-pop music. and just going over videos and things that she's already seen because she's been big on the first reactions. But there's only so much you can do with those. Sometimes it takes a moment to sit with a song and then it becomes your favorite for some reason. So she will be trying to compile that, maybe doing the first episode of such a thing tonight, as long as her OBS still works. Okay, so we've gone on to the cards, making good decisions, and giving to those less fortunate. Some of you may be called, even when you feel like that you don't have a whole lot yourself, and there's part of you, the solinar influence we call it, that part that says, oh, but if I give this now, will I have enough? If it seems like you have enough and you feel the need to give, do so. You will be blessed. You will be blessed. So here is the next card. The Star. See, because what we're aiming towards with this new way of being, living in the 5D, this new energy with all the Mercury retrograde, it is good to go ahead and let go of any fears you hold. But you need to make, again, with the long-term, positive, optimistic, long-term plans. There are lots of us out there that need to go ahead and anything we feel the need to create in our life. Before Angie came on, she sang a little a cappella, some of her older stuff. And it's things like that. Anything that you feel the desire to do in the moment, do it. Do it in the 5D. Do it with your 5D self. Do it with fun. And Angie, she's been trying to take that idea to work because, you know, it's not always comfortable with her condition there. But she's like, well, if I can live my 5D self, then everything will be, it'll work out. It'll work out for the best. Just live, be patient. A better job is coming for me. I choose this job, she says to herself, daily because I want to live in Colorado. And this job right now, my local grocery store in the floral department, not a florist. She says, I know that there's not really a better one of these kind of jobs out there for me. The clientele here is the best I ever had. It's just the condition that I have that makes it more difficult for me to do such a job now. I can't multitask the way I used to in the creative areas. Yes, building a dream. Yes. But in someone else's task to do, she begins to get cloudy because she suddenly feels pressure, the pressure that they feel. She doesn't have fun when the managers are feeling very, very pressured, like when the union was having talks with Kroger and they won, the union won. And Angie's very happy with that. She doesn't actually work a union job anymore because the ones that they have were very, very stimulating, and since her condition deals with overstimulation and she shuts down, it's not a thing. Overstimulation in the things she likes gets her creative flow going and it makes her happy. Overstimulation in the things she doesn't clouds her attention, makes her feel panicked, and she just has to breathe through it. And these days she just says it's the chemicals because it makes her want to bite. She feels all of this emotional pain, this pent up stuff about not even should be working these kinds of jobs. This doesn't resonate, but it is the best one of these kinds of jobs she ever had. And she gets to work with Cecil, which is always a bonus to her. And these must be the new cards as we waited for the energy to give us what we needed. So we will start with the bottom first, because that's what I feel like doing. It says, spend time with your mind with, oops, nope. the lights. Speak your mind with confidence. Seek professional advice. Balance mental and emotional considerations. We were just talking about balancing mental and emotional considerations. Angie's mental consideration says she's more open and free here in Colorado than she's ever been. So she's not going to put at risk her being here in Colorado by not having a job. Right now, the job that is the best for her has not manifested yet. So she's patiently waiting, recording, doing the things that in the now we ask her divine self ask her to do. So the one next to that was look at things from a different perspective, a temporary standstill. It's important to be yourself. So the temporary standstill, we were talking about patience. Patience with what she wants to achieve, knowing that it's hers, and trying to live in the now and enjoy everything she actually enjoys about the job. The beautiful flowers, which she brought some home. Maybe next time we'll set up when she does her recording for the review video, then maybe we'll like set up the flowers. And so it's important. See, I love it when the cards do this. It's very easy to see how they're actually going along with whatever energy that has been going on and why we are speaking through her at all. Now we could do it without the cards, but we want her to learn these cards. It's something that she had set out to do in California. We want her to be able to glow and shine through that, and it's going to help her with understanding her visions more because she gets them, feelings, everything that she's learned up to this point has honed her skills to try to get even further in understanding her feelings and her visions and what she's hearing with more clarity. So, communicate with vision and be a leader. And that is exactly what the divine essence wants of you. It wants you to communicate with vision and be a leader. Lead yourself. Lead your human self, as Courtney from the Divinely Aligned channel would say, lead your human self with your divine essence. Take a hold of who you are, because you're supposed to be not asleep in the body. You're supposed to be the divine in the body, learning and growing with knowledge and more understanding of what it all means for you, your particular authentic angel, and how it's helping you grow as an individual angel, and for the collective to raise the earth up a D or two. We can do it, you know. We've always had the capacity in the human body to do it. We just get sidetracked with fear, and we're afraid to be bold. We're afraid to be ourselves and be afraid to be considered animals. But Angie, she loves it that humankind are animals. They're divine animals, they're thinking animals, but she loves it that they're animals. They're connected to the earth as well. They are the earth in communion with heaven. The earth in communion with heaven, and humankind can be the earth's consciousness if they let themselves be. If they let themselves be. And Joshua was teaching about a heaven on earth. That if you let yourself be, if you let your divine love guide you and those around you will find theirs, then wow, what a world we could really have. Brother loving brother, all kinds of creativity, being the divine, right in the 3D, living in our 5D world. So let's see. We're going to, we never read them upside down. So, a complex decision, the need to do research, stop procrastinating. What we want you to stop procrastinating is accepting your responsibility to create your own life. No individual God is going to do it for you. You are that individual God that is going to create your own life. That light that will shine out to the people around you and the little ripples. Because Angie, she worries a little bit about how this is going to be seen because she was told she needed to be seen. But she knows. Ripple effects, butterfly effects. Angie, she believes that we, in the now, affect the present, the past, and the future. She thinks the butterfly ripples that they talk about, there's two wings. She doesn't think it goes one way into the future. She thinks it goes both at the present, where the butterfly is flapping its wing, to the future and to the past, informing the past with what it's supposed to come into being. Informing that past and what it's supposed to come into being gives, she feels like it gives her past self, who went through a lot of trials and tribulations, traumas, the ability to hold on, because that past self feels that future selves, because to the past self, this is the future self, feels that future self desired to be accepted and loved as she or he accepts and loves that past self. And then the same thing, the present self desires to be loved by the future self. That future self who desires to be loved by the past self, which is the present. Now, Angie, she wants to make her past self proud. Not in any way of, she just thinks she's going to do it by living her life. She already knows that if her past self could see into the future and see the relationship that she has with Cecil, see what she's become, that past self would say, it's all worth doing. Every single last instant of it is worth doing to be right there in that future. And she feels like that her past self, like she, a future self, like she does, will look upon the past when she does look upon that past, living in the now, to collect the information she needs to guide her into her next decision making. It's good to not focus on the past, but if a memory comes up, check it for what it is. Just for the enjoyment, if it's just for that, or if it's a reminder of where you're at now, or if it's a reminder of the pain you've gone through. Understand that it came to you just to remind you, but not to focus too hard on that, because you're supposed to be living in the now. But there's a message to kind of glance over that, because your divine self is trying to give you a message through that memory. Now, and then you don't have to live in your memories. If you hear those messages that the divine keeps like putting, here's what you learned here, or you need, oh yeah, you need to take up this bit and remember Edgar Casey, or you need to take up this bit and remember what you learned about Carl Jung, or you need to take up this bit and remember that you were going to go back to the Kabbalah, which she decided not to do. It doesn't resonate anymore with her. So, the next thing. Plans that need revision. More going on than meets the eye. Poor timing. So, some of you whose plans have not come about, they might need revision. They might need revision. That's why sometimes if you remember something from the past, maybe you'll realize, oh, I'm repeating a pattern that doesn't work. Let's see how I can look at it from a different angle, or do I even still mean to achieve this goal? right? Do I still even need it? Because, well, like when she first came upon the Kabbalah, it was poor timing. She didn't feel ready for all of that, having not been through any kind of mentorship or anything like that. And then when she went back in it, it just did not resonate. So it was poor timing when it did seem to resonate with her. So it's a thing that maybe later on will resonate again with her. But right now, it's put on hold at the very least because it's poor timing. It does not resonate with her and who she is right now. So the last one is a contented and rewarded family. A family life, rewarding family life. Your emotional and material needs are met. Trustworthy relationships. So this is the goal. This is the goal by stepping into 5D. To have a contented and rewarding family life. Whatever family that is, a family of friends, your own children, your grandchildren, whatever that is. That's the goal a lot of times for the human life, is the social network that we end up building. Who resonates with you? And that's what you're seeking, is that finding that rewarding family life. Whether it consists of friends or your immediate family, finding that rewarding one. So remember, though, as you're stepping into your 5D, let go of worries. Angie is having a harder time with that. And we understand she was born, well, she never had her own room. She not very well off family, but she did have a lot of love. And she remembers that. She was born in a crowd, and maybe that's why she had such a long hermitage. But that is coming to an end, and that's why we have her on the social media, because it hasn't yet come into an end. In the place where she's working, she hasn't come across all of those people that resonate with her artistically, which is what she and Cecil have been building their dream, consisting of their whole marriage, their whole life. So you will be building trustworthy relationships at this time. Just remember to make sure that the beings that you are dealing with resonate to your frequency so that you can see the same vision. Because if you don't hold at least very similar visions, then it's going to be harder to pull off that vision. Someone's going to feel slighted. So you need to, when you walk into these, you walk into them with the idea that you are going to fulfill a vision. Figure out what that vision is together, and then fulfill it. Let's see. When you build these partnerships, it can lead to very great things. And if you are making sure you're working with the people aligned with you, it should come off without much of a hitch, and you should just have fun doing it. You should just have fun. It'll be in your path. It'll be in your flow. It'll be in your vibrations. So let's see what Angie's cards have to say today. So, and this is a line that she wrote her husband, and oh, I can't get it seen. The light's just in the wrong place. With the power of a star, pick up your guitar. So, whatever you do, now, do it with the power of the star, the divine essence that you are. Remember, you're here experiencing for that being, and only you can experience what you are supposed to bring into light. Only uniquely you. Uniquely you. The past the future to be born. So again, that I think is one of the poems that alludes to the butterfly wings that we're talking about. That for her, the present now affects both the past and the future, since time doesn't really exist. And that she feels like she can contact them through dream and whatever. Those bits of her, those other beings, and tell them, hold on, everything will be just what you want. So, and even better than you can imagine. Left in a place alone. See, that's the fear I think that most of us feel when we're trying to take on our authentic self. Most human beings feel like they're left in, a place alone. Left in a place alone. Sorry, dude. And that's well, to be frank, a shitty feeling. To feel all alone. There are several times when, what would you feel if you were God? Like the deity that they speak of in the Bible. Lonely is what she said. Lonely. It has to be the loneliest experience if no one can truly understand you. If no one can truly touch you because they have no concept that could describe you. And maybe that's why it all happened anyway, why human or other alien life forms. Because, well, a deity, a light that didn't want to be lonely, didn't want to be alone. Let's see. And this one she really loves. One of the angels, I don't know which one. We write through her the poems. Wrote this. It doesn't have to be complex for time to flex. Again, the angel wings. Even some of the smallest things, like sitting your butt upon a rock because that's what your everything in the universe seemed to be telling you to do. That was what was needed of Angie or whomever you are, right then and right there. Put your feet in the grass, take off your shoes, go and smell that flower over there. Those little moments that remind you that life is just beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's divinely inspired. One more. Ha! This is how it works. The truth is often found in what resides all around. And that will be the end of that drawing. Remember, the truth is often found in what resides all around. So be in your now. Listen for what your divine essence wants to do. And even if it's weird and strange to you, and there's people around, as long as it's not, something that'll get you arrested, like public nudity, then go with it. Go with it. Have fun. Run around like you're a giggling child when you're 58. Find that feeling of exuberance for life because you are supposed to be love and love your life because life is loving you. Life is loving through you. Life and love is you. Find your light. Find your vibration and settle into it. Sometimes the ride's going to be bumpy. So breathe and remember, this is all to create everything you ever wanted. You're becoming this faceted being through your trials and tribulations and through the good things that you find. And as you're creating your reality, you'll find everything is aligning correctly. And now you're no longer worried about the small things. You're no longer crying over spilled milk. You are living in the now and laughing because that juice fell over all over the place. So we will let Angie take back over, and we thank you very much for listening. We love you guys. Well, Azrael did it differently. Didn't even give me a breath to breathe. He just really wanted to go on through it. They each have their own personality, is what I found. You know, I needed to be their friend. And again, if you want to, my first video I think has linked up on it. And maybe I'll put a link down below to my podcast. It is over 18 because of the subject matter, but you will find out more about what the angels brought to me in August of 2021 and how my life changed forever, or for never, as the Stuck say. We love you guys. Thank you for listening. And until next time, and probably will let myself cool off, turn back on the air, and let it go for a little while, and then figure out what video I want to do for my K-pop, because I'm kind of itching to get back into that. But the video process has become more complex, and with working in there, my spiritualism and everything else, so it would just, with it being that complex, we just didn't do it. And now, if my OBS works, I plan on doing a reaction video to a list of songs, maybe creating a list of some of the songs that first made me fall in love. I would probably do one about BTS. I went down the rabbit hole with them, and then NCT got 7, and then ATs, those are the first rabbit hole-y experiences I had, though I didn't get as rabbit hole-y with GOT7, because I think I got involved in watching Jackson do his thing. Really, really love Jackson Wang, so that's coming. I don't know if it's coming with Lou or without him, but that is going to be done in the future. So pay attention, keep lookout for that. As long as my OBS is working, I will be doing those videos. I'm ready to start dancing again now that I've gained the weight back that I feel like I needed. I need to tone. So we will get back to it, and we love you guys. Until next time, the angels and I love you. Bye. Bye, emissaries.